it's two sides of the camp. You got this called the zoo, and the zoo is 21 and older, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the family side, which is on the other side of the highway, and it's kind of back off or whatever. But anyway, I get there and I'm seeing all these tents outside. I mean, I'm seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tents. So I'm like, okay. So they had this little pavilion thing set up over there. They had a stage, and they was like, "Hey, you need anything? We're gonna help you set up this now." I was like, "Well, now first let's set up these tents, and I got to figure out this tent deal." So we set up these tents, man, and I tell you what, I went over there. I started hooking up lights and stuff. I got my turntables and stuff set up, and we hit a cue button for the music. We was just doing a sound check, and people started running down from the hills. And you talking about a good time?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was probably the best. Like I couldn't do no wrong. You know, I don't drink beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
That night I was stone cold Steve Austin, man.
D-Town, LA, NO, Florida, Mississippi, KC, MO. KC, MO. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for. Chi-Town, Tennessee, Carolinas, Alabama, Oakland, St. Louis, Detroit, Atlanta. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for.
Yo, what up, world? Welcome everybody to the Kings and Can Move On podcast. You have Big Reno, aka Frank the Tank, in the house. What's happening?
What's good? It's your boy Lil J.K. Wood. Welcome to KCMO Podcast, y'all. Like I do about this time, I'm gonna tell y'all, hey, please subscribe and like, follow the podcast. Help us out however you can. Appreciate that. But anyway, once again, we back at it one more again. What's up, Frank the Tank?
Man, Big Wood, man, just living the dream right now, bro. Living that Kansas City dream. This weather's turning around. I mean, it doesn't look like it's gonna be cold for the next 10 days. I can put some t-shirts on with my fat ass belly and I can kick it. Just smile. Cause when I walk out, it ain't cold. What's happening with you?
That sounds like it's about to be party time then up in the big KC.
They can
It's
party
not
all
like
they
you're gonna
want
be
to.
out shaking your groove thing at somebody's function real soon. Speaking
Yeah,
of
you know
which,
what?
we
Yeah,
have
speaking of groove thing, get your groove thing on. We got an old school player right here. Known this cat for a long time. We played football together back in high school. We sang together back in high school, and now he doing his big things in Kansas City, doing a DJ thing. What's up, DJ Charles Smiley? What's happening, brother?
What's going on, y'all? Man, you took me back there, man. I was sitting there like, play football. I was like, damn, we played football. We sure did. We played football.
Sure did.
Man, yeah,
Go
man.
Eagles.
It's been a long time, man. But hey, good to see your brothers doing good.
Good, man. Same
like
to
you
you.
still playing, Smiley. Like a pretty big dude over there, man.
Yeah, I keep the knives sharp, so but that's turned into flag. And today's flag football is, the flag is a suggestion. You know what I'm saying? So it still gets a little physical out there sometimes, but as far as the tackle football, yeah, nah. It's too much wear and tear.
After those games, man, do you ever wake up that next morning and be like, dog, what am I doing? What am I doing?
The next morning after that, the next morning after that, and all the way until it's time to play again for the most part.
Right.
That's finally when I recover. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But Smiley, so we go way back to high school. But I look at your Facebook page, and you tagged yourself the baddest DJ in the land. So, how long you been spinning records, man?
Man, it's been a solid 25 for me now. It's been 25 years, man. The guy that taught me, he taught me more of the business side of it first. And back when I was in high school, I watched Juice. And I was just intrigued by the art of it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had to learn that, and then I was like, it's got to be a way where I can take this craft and make money out this craft. Mm-hmm. And like I said, since Omar Epps and Juice, man, I've just taken the game and just ran with it. So, practice. Perfect practice. And then, hey, it is what it is today.
You went out and bought them turntables and went to work, huh?
Man, listen, it was a struggle. It was a journey because, back then, them shits ain't cheap, man.
Mhm.
You know, the guy that was gonna sell me some used equipment, we was looking at like $3,800, and at the time I was making like $850 an hour. I was working at a detail shop. I'm like, you know, when you when you
Yeah.
20, 22, 23 years old, you ain't got $3,800 just sitting around to go buy some speakers and stuff like
Right.
that. So you basically paycheck to paycheck. But I mean, just the passion I had for it, man. I saved and bought a piece at a time. If I had to buy a speaker wire a week, you know what I'm saying? It was just kind of one of those grinds to where, okay, I got a speaker now, and I got two speakers, now I need
Yeah,
one
and this
turntable, and I got, you
this
know,
wasn't this was pre eBay to where you couldn't get a deal, or pre
yeah, wasn't no
Amazon
online.
where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
couldn't
You
find the
had to
cheapest deal.
right. Seventh Heaven was your best friend. You know,
Yeah,
you had garage sales and things like that, whatever. But yeah, man, it ain't like it is today. So
yeah,
can't make no payments back then.
right, right.
So when you first started out smiling, you got it going. What was your main hustle? Was it clubs and parties, or what was it like?
Yeah, honestly, I got my first gig. The guy that taught me how to do this shit, like he was an old white man, believe it or not. And at the time he was pushing 50. He was probably, my age now. And we worked at a dealership together. And I became his assistant manager, and he would always have me work on Saturdays. And I'm like, man, what are you doing to where, you can't never be here on Saturday? I want to take Saturdays
Mm-hmm.
off too. And he's like, if you can keep a secret,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take you with me and show you. So I'm like, oh shit, I don't know, I don't want to be that, he might be in some heavy shit or something, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, he was like, no, I'm gonna pay you just to come keep me company or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. So I took that Saturday off with him, and he did this party out in it was Lawrence, Kansas, man. And I'm sitting there, and a bunch of white folks in there having a good time or whatever. It
Mm-hmm.
was just a party. And at the end of the night, I mean, I'm sitting there watching this guy entertain, man. And like I say, at the end of the night, I'm watching them count out 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. And I'm like, all this for having fun? Like,
Wow.
you in here, you got unlimited food, unlimited drinks, and you getting paid like $800 to.
Mm-hmm.
So the light bulb went off, and I was like, man, I got to get right. I got to, now that I know what I need, I got to go get this equipment, and we got to make it jump off. So yeah, it really started out with small parties, but then it reverted back to he had a club. It was Lakewood Pub out in Lee Summit, and he was driving all the way from Nevada, and he was like, "Man, this drive is just killing me. So I'm gonna give you a job." And he's like, "Man, they paying $350 a night."
Is it downtown Lee
So
Summit?
no, it's right there off Lakewood. Like if you on 470 and you get off
Uh-huh.
Lakewood right there, it's like a little corner right there. It's like a daycare there, it's a liquor store there,
Yep.
and it says right
Yep.
there in that corner. And
Okay.
man, and those people in there, they partied, they had a good time, and
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much went with them. I knew the new music back in the day. That was like early, whew, man, that was like early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, somewhere in that area. But that's when Will Smith and all that was hot. You know what I'm saying? Believe
Mm-hmm.
it or not, Will Smith was,
Mm-hmm. Welcome
but I'm
to
like,
Miami.
right.
Yeah.
But I never knew that white folks really kicked it to our kind of music like that. You know what I'm saying? And,
Mm-hmm.
and, and back then, it was about dancing, going out dancing, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So when he told me, he was like, okay, I'm gonna bring you with me for. So I was there every Thursday night with him. And finally he was like, you know what? I'm hanging my cleats up. This is all you now. So he was like, I'm gonna leave the equipment here, what you need, and I'm gonna let you do
Mm-hmm.
this Thursday night. From then on, I already knew what to play because I've been watching him, and
Mm-hmm.
as well as, I grew up watching MTV all my life. So I knew every hit that was gonna make folk jump, no matter what race you
Mm-hmm.
was, I
Mm-hmm.
was gonna make you jump. So it all kicked off from there, and I just happened to run into the right folks that came in there.
That's
So
what's
the
up.
motion just went from there.
Where did you normally get your music from? Back then, because still was albums. Now we got CD, or I don't even know what y'all mixing with
Man,
right now, but
listen, I started, like I said, I was kind of in that cross barrier between albums and CDs.
mm-hmm.
And back then we had this. It was a site called Napster. That's when Napster was real hot.
Napster, yeah.
Napster. Remember Napster and LimeWire was real hot. And sometimes you download a song and it might not necessarily be the right song, but you try 4 or 5 times, you probably get the right song.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for the most part, I had a book of CDs. I had 3 books of
Mm-hmm.
CDs, and all the books carried 200 CDs a piece. So You remember the 63rd Street Swap Shop?
Mm-hmm.
You could go get. Remember the CDs they sell out there? They had cassettes and they had CDs. So
the boots, yeah.
The boots. So I go out there, I grab me a couple of boots. I think it was 3 for $10 or something like that. So whatever was hot at that time, I just snatched them up and I started a little collection. I still got those CDs. I still to this day got all those CDs, bro. I never relinquished any of my CDs. So with that, it's all about knowing your library and where they're at. So if somebody come up and request a song, hey, I want Wu-Tang. So you got to, okay, Wu-Tang, Black Book, 5th, 6th page, somewhere in that area. You know, the struggle was real.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's
now
it's
it's all digitized now. So everything's in the computer. I just type it in and we good to go.
Damn, that's tight.
That's tight.
Where do you when you started out then and you moved over from that out there in Lawrence, he taught you that, showed you the game. Then in Lakewood, you said you really was taught the game. What did you do? Where'd you go from there?
Man, you remember
Westport,
Voodoo Lounge?
downtown?
Voodoo Lounge was hot, right?
Okay.
So I went with Voodoo Lounge and you know, Bobby Keys was real big. He had like Lords of Tokyo, and I kind of knew how to cross over to that crowd because you had like a lot of Asian people who went in there, and you know, so you had to be able to play trance and upbeat music and stuff like that. And then there was Club Envy, which was also hot. Kind of the same crowd or whatever, but they kind of wanted you to filter it in and continue with the dance and trance up until like 1 o'clock because it was a 3 o'clock bar, and then after 1 o'clock they let you kind of, you know, implement what we wanted to hear up in there or whatever. So
really,
that was
so they had a big influence on what you was playing in whatever club you was at.
Oh yeah, for the most part, yeah, you had it pretty much because I mean people just pack their shit and leave on you, and you didn't want that, you know. So, but that 1 o'clock hour is when, you know, that's when all the players was there by then, you know what I'm saying? So some folks that was really trying to hear you was already in there. So by that time, it was really my time to jump on the set. And that's when I hit them with that hip hop. And they're like, oh, they done went from, because there'd be 3 DJs up in the booth. And they were like, oh, he's the best DJ because he plays all the shit that they want to hear, right? Not that I was more skilled or talented than them, but I just knew what everybody wanted to hear. And again, I got that next nod to go to Westport. And when I went to Westport, that's when it just blew up.
Really?
So yeah, because you got the urban crowd down there, and you know, it was a little bit of a mix at America's Pub, but I mean, you know, the capacity in there was like 800, and we was consistently at like 1,200, so we was way over capacity all the time. So, but yeah.
What's up?
And Smiley, this is your full-time gig, DJing?
Believe it or not, it's not. You know, if people was partying Monday through Friday, I would be partying Monday through Friday, and it would be my full-time gig, but I don't sit around and just rot, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people get complacent, and I'm like, nah, if I got time to go out and chase the bag, I'm still working 9 to 5, regardless of the success I have in the back end on the business, because those parties is really only Fridays and Saturdays. So, yeah. So I've been working with, I was in the car business for a while, not selling, but I was a PDR technician, and that's hail damage and, you know, glass repairs and, you know, all that stuff that's functioning on cars and stuff like that, the outer body of a car. And then now I work for a leasing company, and I've been with them 14 years, and we lease out single family homes and townhomes and stuff like that. And we got an apartment complex. So, but yeah, if people was partying at, you know, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, that's where I'd be. So.
Yeah, isn't it?
So I know you in KC, and you just talked about all the spots you was doing in KC. When you were in your height of DJing, did you do any traveling with it and going anywhere like that?
Yeah, I had a couple of gigs down in, just kind of open gigs down in like Dallas, Texas. I did one show. I opened up for a friend of mine in Las Vegas. It was at Club Privé in Las Vegas. I think that's Planet Hollywood. And you know, it just really depends. St. Louis, a lot around this Midwest area, Omaha. So most of the time, I stay pretty much around the Midwest when I ventured out. So
okay, that's what's up.
Yep.
What crowds do you like playing to the most right now?
Man, honestly, well, I'm gonna say this for the record: the safe crowd. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
safe crowd, number one, and a lot of those like downtown Lee Summit is a really hot. It's a really hot place to play. Now you get
Talking
a
about my place now, man. That's my hometown.
right, but it's a great crowd, man. Like Bricks, that place is a
Mm-hmm.
little bitty hole in the wall, but people actually go in there and they respect your craft, they respect what you do, and they know how to party and have a good time without fucking with the DJ for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, and the hip hop crowd now, it's really about coming in late, getting my song played, you know, and nobody's there to like, we used to go out, we was always, we're going to get freshened up so we can hit on some girls. Now it's not like that. It's like people want to go out now just to, be where everybody's at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where everybody's at, eventually is gonna be a problem.
You know what? You hit on something though. I'm wondering this. Do you run into a lot of rappers these days? You like, hey man, can you just play this for me?
Mm, mm,
All
and you know what I tell
right.
them? Mm-mm, mm-mm,
What? No, you
mm-mm.
don't give them no
See,
chance. Come
here's
on.
the thing. Here's the thing. You got to know your market. If you're an artist, you got to know your market. Like
Mhm.
that would be like me. If you worked at Burger King and you see everybody around you eating burgers, and I come in and ask you for a slice of pepperoni pizza,
Mhm.
make sense? It's here's the thing with Kansas City. If it's not played repetitively, it's not hot.
Yeah.
And I don't care how hot the song is. You know what I'm saying? They have to get used to it because we so used to following. You know what I'm saying? We get
Mhm.
all these other markets to get the music first, and what'll be hot in Dallas, Texas, ain't made it here yet. So when I come up here and try to break it here, they haven't got no clue who it is. So if they don't know who it is and they don't know the words, they just kind of look at you like, "What is this? This ain't hot."
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
let 3 weeks go by. You jamming that same song in the club 3 weeks and let some people start singing the words, they'll learn the words. And
Mhm.
that's kind of my advice to artists. Like, no disrespect anything towards artists, but if they put time in, all you got to do is if you bring 10 people to the club, like you get 10 of your boys or 10 of your homegirls to come to the club that know your music, I'll play your music. If they sing your music and dance to it, people will jump on the bandwagon. And that's what
Right.
it takes.
Right. Right.
But artists nowadays, they don't want to do that. They want to go downstairs in the basement, smoke weed, throw something in the recorder, hand you a CD with, in a Ziploc sandwich bag and call it good. That's not a way to approach a DJ. First of all, you know what I'm saying? You got to be
Yeah.
serious about that shit because at the end of the night, I'm getting paid to rock this spot. So if people start leaving, now my job's in jeopardy.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
You don't
yeah.
ever listen to it like that night. I mean, say, hey man, I'll take it tonight. I may not play it tonight. I'll take it though, and I'll listen to it. And if it's nice, I'll rock. I may rock
Well, a lot of it really depends on the setting. If it's a hip hop setting, if I got predominantly if there's a lot of artists in there or something like that, you got to be careful with that too because they'll sit there and they'll okay. If somebody comes up and hands me a CD and they see me play it, they gonna go to the car and get their CD, and then they gonna go to the car and get their CD, and then it becomes a chain reaction, and then next thing you know,
Right.
you playing
Right.
all this music that nobody knows. So the women's leaving. That's gonna be the first people to leave. Then when the women leave, the men's gonna leave. Now you got an empty club, and the bartender's looking like, "What the fuck? He sucks as a DJ."
Yeah. You done fucked
See
up
if we
his
can get
money.
somebody. Yeah, see if we can get somebody else next week. That's how it
Mm-hmm.
works. But they don't understand that grind. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They want that moment of, you know, here's my song, play it now. I don't care what it takes to play it. Now, there's some people that come in there, some bosses come in there and said, I never will forget this guy. He gave me $100. He said, man, I give you $100. You play my song right now. I'm only making 300 at the club, right? So
Right.
$100 for 4 minutes. So I said, all right, cool. I stuck it in there. He went out, like he requested the song. He went outside to smoke a cigarette, came back in at the tail end of his song and said, man, I didn't get a chance to hear my song. I barely heard it. He said, and the song was ending. He said, I give you another $100 if you play it again. I push repeat so goddamn fast now. and but again, so I just made $200 in 8 minutes, but the club is kind of looking like, damn, didn't he just play the song? So they don't see, the back end of what's going
Right.
on. But
Right. Right.
hey, I just made $200 in 8 minutes. So
right. Was it at least
yeah,
popping?
Nah, it really wasn't. And the thing of it is, here's the thing. Even if I like your music, everybody's not gonna like it, and it all stems back to people that don't know it.
Yeah.
It might become hot, 2 or 3 months down the road, but that's really up to you to push that. You got to make that hot. You got to get it out to folk and get people to stand behind you and actually know the words and the lyrics and sing. And yeah, it'll become hot. We can say, man, we can have the most boo-boos lyrics out there, but if somebody got to dance to it and it's got a catchy hook and a beat, we might be honest, the Soldier Boy. Horrible,
Yeah.
but he's still Soldier Boy,
Garbage.
What I've always wondered, Smiley, when we at a party, we've always been at a party where the floor empties, you get a lull and you're like, okay, man, dog, what's he playing? And it's like a few songs, you're like, okay, dog, so when that happens, dog, and you mixing, doing your thing, you see the floor empties, do you like keep your set list going, or do you like change up the whole thing? Like, okay, I gotta follow the vibe of the crowd, or I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna rock this thing out.
Yeah, me first. Yeah, I'm looking at the crowd first. I mean, even if it's some hot songs out there like Sleazy. Sleazy shit's real hot, right? But the thing of it is you got to know the crowd that's around you. If I'm at Bricks and it's 10:30 at night where you still got mom and dad in there just coming out of work, they come out for happy hour and have some dinner and stuff like that. Sleazy's not hot at 10:30 at night. You know what I'm saying? The people that's there eating dinner and shit like that are just coming out to socialize. They're gonna be going to bed at 11 o'clock, 11:30. So they'll jet out. So you kind of want to say that toward the end, to where the youngsters is coming in, because in the hip hop world, we always want to show up late. If we say if we tell you that you can get in free at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11 o'clock, if you get there before 11 o'clock, we let you in free. You know how many people pass on that? But they complain about paying $10 to get in the club. But they don't want to be seen. Even if you ain't got the $10, I ain't coming in before 11 o'clock because there ain't nobody there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody wants to come in and, okay, I went out and bought this shirt, I done bought this dress, so I'm coming in at midnight. So I'm gonna have to find a way to come up with this $10. So
shit, I'm ready to go sleep at that time. Shit.
Me too as a DJ, but I already know what's coming. I know the wave is coming, it's the younger crowd is coming. So that's when you throw in the shit there, all the new top shit. Yeah, later on.
That reminds me. I don't know if y'all remember when KPRS, they used to throw the R&B. They have R&B on all day, and it wasn't until about 6 or 7 o'clock. That's when they start playing hip hop stuff, and then they would only play that for 3 hours because after that, the Quiet Storm come on at 10. You know what I mean? So it sounds like that's, as far as a DJ, that's what you basically got to cater to.
Yeah, you got to really watch the crowd, and like I said, it's so diverse out here. Now, I mean, with everything going on, with the letters, with the letters, and I say, the LGBT,
Go ahead and say it, Smiley.
You know what I'm saying? But I ain't trying to offend nobody, but that's a lot of shit has changed, as far as in the club. So you gotta cater to everybody. And you're gonna get all different kinds of vibes in your face. So a lot of DJs just get frustrated and say, no request. But sometimes and people question like, well, why does he take requests? They automatically get labeled as asshole because you don't take requests. Well, you got a direction that you're trying to go. Not to mention that you're trying to get a residual out of this deal and be there every week, because if the crowd thinks you suck, they gonna leave, and then management's gonna see, okay, ain't nobody really cracking here. Let's go a different direction with the music, and that's the last thing you want to hear. So yeah, it's tough.
You never decided to do it? You ever thought about doing a radio route? Just going to be a DJ on the radio?
I really wanted to, but I didn't really have the literature on, even who to talk to. Like I talk a little bit, to Brian B. Shining back in the day when he first started And believe it or not, Brooklyn Martino, when she was here, I trained her.
Oh wow.
To be, yeah, she she hit me up and she was like, "Hey, I want to be a DJ. Can you teach me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll teach you." So she comes to the crib, a couple of times a week, and we get down on the spins and scratches and stuff like that. Well, she took that and went to California and started DJing out there. So I think she's kind of that Brian B. Shining now out there,
Oh,
where
nice.
she was only voice here, but now she knows how to spin. So, big ups to her. But she took it and ran with it. So.
Nice. That's what's
But
up.
yeah, if I could find the niche in there, because that's kind of my next thing. I say, you know what, I ain't gonna be doing this shit, my 50s and stuff like that, like going hard. I might do some weddings and stuff like that, but as far as that underground heat and all that stuff, man, I just rather be the voice and behind the voice. You don't know who's mixing, but it's probably me. But
Yeah.
I don't want to be just seen out at the clubs mixing and all that stuff. So yeah.
Dude, how competitive is the game in Kansas City for DJs?
It's cutthroat. It's cutthroat. You got man, you got your urban DJs, you got some real talented DJs. They kind of moved on. I mean, they still got they monopolize the city, you know what I'm saying? So they'll go bar to bar, like Ashton Martin, like he's probably one of the biggest here in Kansas City. But he DJs for the Royals, he DJs for Sporting KC. And when you get that kind of marketing behind you, when that many people are seeing you, you're gonna run into some folks that own some bars and some clubs. And he's like, well, hey, I got a team of DJs that, if you need somebody, hey, I'll come down there and I'll put somebody in there that's really good, and they do their thing. And then you got, again, the urban DJs, which they kind of they're involved with the core DJs, most of them, and yeah, they kind of take over a little bit of the market too down in Westport. So they got Bricks down there, the Daiquiri Shop.
They got a Bricks in Westport?
Not Bricks, Bridgers. My fault, Bridgers.
Okay.
Bridgers is right there, and it's right there where America's Pub used to be. America's Pub is actually Throwback, but then right that next little building up the street there, that's Bricks. Nice spot, and they pack it out. But again, it's kind of I had a buddy in mind that was spinning in there, and he really wasn't seasoned or polished as a DJ. Like he didn't have like the technical skills to scratch and even the beat matching at the time. But he knew the music to play. He knew the right music to play. So that place stayed packed. That place stayed packed, but he got undercut by a guy that's got a bigger following here in Kansas City. And, he kind of snatched it up underneath him because he was like, I could bring more people. But the thing of it is it was already packed. It was already wall to wall. It was 200 people in line outside. So, but just because you got the name, So
is it a small knit community, the DJing community?
It depends on how you look at it. As far as, I mean, there's plenty out here. There's plenty out here to eat, but the good ones, yeah, it's limited. To say the good DJs, it's limited.
Okay.
Is DJ Fresh still DJing?
Yeah, Fresh is kind of one of those guys, man. That but Fresh knows he knows his lane now. He's a legend here. He's still got mad love from everybody and respect. So he's kind of doing his thing with the private events and stuff like that as well. And like I said, Fresh is up there in age. But shit, Fresh was rocking the party house when I was in school. You know what I'm saying?
Party house and Stars.
Right. Yeah, and Stars. Yeah. So if I'm knocking on 50, Fresh got to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 60-ish.
Yeah, we ain't trying to be nobody's grandpa and be up there, but he still loves what he does, and he still make appearances and stuff like that, man. And yeah, he still gets down though. He still DJ Fresh.
Shout out to DJ Fresh, man. That kid, I used to get his mixtapes at 710 all the time.
Oh yeah. He'll still get down now. Yeah. Matter of fact, I sold him some. He's kind of doing what I'm doing, just buying equipment and. Trying to put guys out there. And so he ended up buying some equipment from me about 6 months ago. So yeah, I talked to him. That's about the last time I talked to him. But yeah, he's still doing his thing.
Yeah, Smiley. Look, so we just talking about DJ Fresh, we all get there in age. And I'm always called the old man. You know, Frank always call me the old man because I don't like.
You here? You are.
Hey, listen here, cuz. I embrace my age too. But what I don't really get into the new stuff. Some of it I do, some of it I don't. So the DJ, how do you stay in touch with the new stuff and emerging artists and all that kind of shit?
Yeah,
man, don't if you don't have to. That's my best advice to you, because the new music is trash to me. I ain't gonna lie. There's a lot of it I don't like. There's a few here I do like. You know, like the baby. I think the baby's got some stuff. You know, he's pretty solid. You know, of course Drake's stuff is always solid, but you know, when people just throw artists in there together, right now what's hot is, you know, the girls. Like, you know, Megan Thee Stallions and Cardi B's and yeah.
And I'll be at a party, Smiley, and I'll be like, well, let me I'll be at like happy hour.
Right. The old dude at the club.
I'll be happy hour, and it might get a little late on me. I might still be there. And they be just rocking some shit I ain't never heard. And they be going word for word, just like going at it. I be like, who is that? And what is this shit? Like,
right. And that's when it becomes a little intimidating.
Off on that shit. They be crunk. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, and again, it reverts back to what I was telling about, you know, the artists and want their music hot. You know, your music ain't going to be hot until everybody know it. Even if it's garbage, you know, it's not going to be hot until everybody know it.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. See, I'm on a different than Jay, because I because I grew up in music from 3rd grade on, as far as being in choir and stuff. I try to listen to everything. My daughter even got me on Rod Wave. I don't know if you play any of his stuff.
Rod's got
He's a nice cat. Cat.
But stop right there. He's a nice cat. You listening to his lyrics, right?
Yeah.
When you say he's nice, you're listening to his lyrics. Now, you take the lyrics away from that and just play the music. Can you take that to Lee Summit?
No, you can't tell. But you know what? His music is more, the beat itself, in my opinion, is more hood. 27 to Cleveland or something like that. But what he's saying is,
but it's catchy.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, my daughter grows up in Lee. My girl grew up in Lee Summit, so she ain't listening to it by herself. It's her little, the the demographics out here. It's her and her little friends listening to it. So he made fare well in Lee Summit.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, I'd say yeah, but I'm gonna tell you what happens with that. You know, the younger generation in Lee Summit will actually bring that inside and try to have DJs break it. This is what happened. And the oddest shit, this happens all the time to me. I'll be spinning, and like I say, it might be 3 black folks in the spot, right? 3, I mean, total. It'd be 200 people in this place, but me, one of my homeboys, and another cat just sitting out there, you know, I'll be playing what they want to hear. So we can rock with the AC/DCs, the Miley Cyruses, and you know, all that good old stuff, right? And when we jump into hip hop, as soon as I jump into hip hop, I don't just come out the closet on that shit, you know, with Rod Wave and Future and nothing like that. You can't do that with them, right? So you got to slide in. You got to slide in with like the old school DMXs, maybe some Pac, maybe some Biggie, and then gradually
something that they've been knowing for years,
right? That gets them to adapt, you know what I'm saying? Because now they're like, okay, well, yeah, even if I don't know the song, I've heard this song before. So you got to come in with a hit and then slide the Rod Wave and the Baby and stuff in there like that. But it'll be some young white kid that'll be in there all by himself, sitting in a hoodie, pants sagging down, white kid now, pants sagging down, just trying to be like us. He'll come up and ask for the most gangster, hardest shit I've ever heard, and shit I ain't even heard of. So me, I'm always one of those guys that, for the most part, I'm like, let me see what I can do for you, because I want try to help you out. So I'll download the shit real quick if I ain't got it and listen to it. And man, I'm like, bro, I can't play this right now. I can't
Not here.
I can't.
Not right
Yeah,
now.
not right now. Like
Yeah.
it's 11 o'clock, man. Give me. Let's see. We close at 1. Give me 12:30.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And, oh man, I gotta go. And this and that. And I'm like, man, I can't do it right now. Because
You know
every
what?
time I do that,
Mhm.
people leave. Yeah, they'll leave.
You hit up on the black and the white community, but you also mentioned earlier that you've done the Asian community. Is that something that you know as far as musically? Do you know the Asian and the Hispanic community, or
Yeah,
any other?
absolutely.
Okay,
I can make anybody jump. I can make Iranians jump. You know what I'm saying?
really?
I'm very diverse like that. So,
Hmm.
but with the Asians, if as long as you got EDM and techno and a
Hmm.
little bit of house and trance, they'll jam to the same beat all night. And you
Wow.
just add some flares and some snares and all that stuff
Mhm.
in there, whatever. And you can keep
Yeah.
same beat going for 30 minutes, man, and they won't stop kicking it.
Wow, that's what's up.
And then Latin, you just gotta, you gotta know a little bit of. It depends on which Latin crowd you get. If it's a party crowd, it's more of a reggaeton crowd. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just stick salsa on them or something like that or whatever, because they'll be like, okay, they look around and you ain't got nobody in there salsa dancing. So the younger crowds don't really want to hear that. That's more of the older ones, that wear the big ass belt buckles and the
Hmm.
and the cowboy hats and the
Hmm.
boots. So you
Hmm.
you kind of have to pick your battles with that too. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
as long as you got some Bad Bunny for the younger crowd, you win it. You
You
win.
good. That's
Yeah.
what's up. That's what's up.
So
It's an interesting life you lead there, Smiley. But let me
yeah,
ask you this: what is the most memorable gig or venue you had or played when you was DJing? Trill Tough.
the most memorable gig. Man, we did this float trip.
Hmm.
We did this float trip, and I was talked into this deal. I met these group of guys. I did a Super Bowl house party for this guy, and he was a big corporate guy, a big old house, and he said, "Hey man, would you be willing to go spend out of town with us?" He said, "We go on this float trip every year," and he said it's about 10,000 people down it is, and I'm looking like 10,000 people, like highly doubt it, but okay, 10,000. I'm thinking he's exaggerating, right?
Hmm.
So I said, so tell me about this float trip. He said it's a 2-day event. I need you to spend Friday night and I need you to spend Saturday night. He said it's gonna be a killer party, this and that. I'll pay you whatever you want to make or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. So he was like, how much you charge me? And I was like, this you pay for my travel and stuff like that because I knew I had to have room. He said, you're gonna ride with us. So he had a Durango, they had a trailer with all this stuff on the back of it, and everybody was carpooling from Lee Summit to go down to this place called it was name of that place is it's in Steelville, Missouri. It's in Steelville, Missouri. Anyway,
Hmm.
so I'm like, all right. So I told them, I said, man, I don't camp. I don't sleep outside. I don't sleep in
Hmm.
tents. I don't do this stuff like that. So they said, man, we have a cabin. So I was like, okay, cool. I've slept in the cabin
Okay.
before. I got a bed. I got AC and all that. So I'm 3 hours into this trip, this riding with them. So I'm listening to them talk about air mattresses and all that type of stuff, right? So I'm sitting there like, now mind you, I ain't got my truck with me, so I'm like, so about these air mattresses, so what's up with the cabins? They was like, there is no cabin, and I'm
Oh, he
like,
tricked you.
he tricked me. So now I'm sitting here with anxiety in the back seat, like, fuck, I'm gonna do that. And they was like, don't worry, we got a tent for you, we got an air mattress, everything's gonna be fine. And I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. I don't do that.
Hmm.
So anyway, I get out of there, man, and we pull up, and they had these flyers made of me or whatever, and I didn't even know they did these flyers. So there's like a little store that you go across the street. It's two sides of the camp. You got this called the zoo, and the zoo is 21 and older, right?
Hmm.
And then you got the family side, which is on the other side of the highway, and it's kind of back off or whatever. But anyway, I get there and I'm seeing all these tents outside. I mean, I'm seeing hundreds and hundreds and
Hmm.
hundreds of tents. So I'm like, okay. So they had this little pavilion thing set up over there. They had a stage, and they was like, "Hey, you need anything? We're gonna help you set up this now." I was like, "Well, now first let's set up these tents, and I got to figure out this tent deal." So we set up these tents, man, and I tell you what, I went over there. I started hooking up lights and stuff. I got my turntables and stuff set up, and we hit a cue button for the music. We was just doing a sound check, and people started running down from the hills. And you talking about a good time, man? That was probably the best. Like I couldn't do no wrong. You know, I don't drink beer, right? That night I was stone cold Steve Austin, man. I was just, you just put when you got that kind of energy, yeah. When you got that kind of energy and that kind of vibe, man, and it was a bunch of college kids for the most part, but those people just, I mean, you couldn't do no wrong. Like no matter what I play, I could play hood music, I could play country music, I could play whatever, and they were just having a ball.
Outside the whole time, Smiley.
Just outside the whole time, you know, and I was all paranoid with mosquitoes and the bugs and stuff. I'm spraying off and stuff on me with it. Probably the best time of my life, bro.
You know what it reminds me, dog? You remember House Party? Where old dude kept on bumping the DJ booth and scratching it. So you know, a situation like that, you got 10,000 people there. What are you doing in a situation of technical difficulties, man? Have you ever ran into anything like that?
Most of not there because I was kind of put up on a stage where nobody could really get to me, and there was security at each side of the stage. So if you know, most times girls would want to come up and say, "Hey, can I come up and meet the DJ?" And I'd be like, "Okay, cool." But it was like some weird guy or something like that. I'd be like, "Nah, you know, he's cool. Just leave him down there." But most of the time, that happens at bars more than anything. If the bar don't have a DJ booth, most of the time they got a table, or sometimes I'll bring my facade. Now it's girls that just want to twerk. Like they come up and instantly want to grab your table and start. You know what I'm saying? So they don't realize that, you know, okay, you shaking my shit as you twerking or whatever. Like I got, you know, it's needles jumping and
computer shaking off my table.
Right. So I had to turn the music down, and it kind of embarrasses them because I'll turn the music down when you turn that off. Like everybody turns around, like what's going on? So now they see this motherfucker over here, like, oh, sorry. So I'll put all that heat on you, and I'll wait for you to back the fuck up so I can turn it back on. You know what I'm saying? That's how you got to handle that. It's tough. It's hard, but hey, that's how you got to handle that.
Yeah. That's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
I get it, though. It works, though. It works.
Right.
Yep.
That's funny, man. That's funny. I see you, DJ Smiley, a.k.a. Uncle L's twin.
Watch out, man. Watch out.
Right.
Hey, I went on Facebook. I said, this nigga look like Uncle L's stunt double. I'm like, what the hell?
Man, I've been getting that the last about 10 years now. And I'm like, is it my bald head now? I don't know what it is.
Put that skull cap on like Uncle L, you look just like the fool.
Yeah. But see, you know, I was always, my head always, ever since I lost my hair, man, I was like, well, first of all, I didn't lose my hair. I took it out, right? I got a choice. So it will grow. Like, hey, next week I can have full hair. But no, you know, my hair would always get cold, so I was rocking the skull caps on it, and then somebody said, anybody ever told you look like LL? And I was like, nah. And somebody else said, and then I start watching that CSI, and I'm like, they might be right.
They might got something there. They might got something there.
Oh, you can put that microphone on your arm. That mic that he got on his arm.
Yeah, put that mic on my right. But you get a little touchy about that mic on your arm. You can't talk about that mic.
Right.
Here in your career, you talk about that mic.
Right.
He gonna come at you for real.
You ain't heard of Cassidy since. Cassidy ain't brought nothing else since that.
Right, cannabis.
Cannabis. None of them gone.
Yeah, nah. Ruined.
Yeah, man. We sure appreciate you coming on, though, Smiley, man, chopping it up with us. Talking.
Oh, no doubt, man.
Life.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun catching up with you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you still doing stuff. So if people try and catch up with you and they need a DJ, where do they go to find you? Your web page or your Facebook or what?
Usually, I just this year I'm putting together. I just got my LLC, and I'm putting together a website, and I want to make sure it's done right because lately I just been using. I got 2 pages. I got my my Facebook page, of course. I got my Instagram page, but then I have a Smiley special event page, a DJ Smiley special event page, and that's more for like private parties and weddings, so they can kind of see have a visual aid of videos and stuff like that. Just kind of see setups that I bring, the lightings. So I use that for like all the school proms and stuff like that that I'm doing. So they kind of revert to that page.
Okay.
Nice. So yeah.
All right, that's what's up, man. That is what's up.
Sure.
Yeah, hang out for a minute when we finish this out. But
yeah,
you got anything?
No, bro. I just appreciate you, Smiley, coming on, man. Good seeing you again. We
good
always see and chop it up on Facebook, but it's good to talk to you in person, bro. Good seeing you, man, and I wish you much success. Much
appreciate
success.
That. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Thank
in
you.
the next 50 years of your life, bro.
Right. Yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with 30. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. I'll be happy with 30. So.
Right. Feel you, shit.
Whatever it is, we take it. So with that, y'all, it's DJ Smiley, Frank the Tank, and I'm Lil J, y'all. You know what it is. Kings move on, y'all. We out.
New York, D-Town, LA, NO, Florida, Mississippi, KC, MO, Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for. Chi-Town, Tennessee, Carolinas, Alabama, Oakland, St. Louis, Detroit, Atlanta. Show 'em what you stand for. Show 'em what you stand for.